hear me?
Yep.
Like, this is good volume for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a really quick exercise. I've sat through every one of these talks. So everyone just take out your phone. Everyone have a cell phone? You guys have a cell phone, right? Android. Any Blackberries in the house? So, what I want you guys to do, unlock your phone, if you are the type of person to have a password on, and I want you to just take a picture. I'm going to take a picture of you guys. You can take a picture, you can take a selfie, take a picture of the room, you can take a picture of me. I don't have any slides up yet, but I'll tell you why in just a second. So make sure you get good zoom, good lighting. All right, awesome guys. So after you're done that, you guys could hold on to your phone, you know, don't give it to anyone. So I do that for a couple different reasons. One, I just wanted to say, you know, I really honor you guys for taking the time to come out here. I know today, I don't think the Raptors are playing, so you know, that's good. But like, it was raining earlier. Like, you guys could have easily went home, right? And yet, through all the excuses, I can show you. Like, I had like at least 5 or 6 text messages, like novels of why people couldn't make it. I'm sure it's all valid, right? But I really want to honor you guys for taking the time to come out here. We really, you know, we don't take that for granted. Every minute that you guys are here with us. And I want you guys, being the leaders that you are, to share those photos so that you can let other people know that you're working on your businesses. You can let other people know that Project Spaces looks kind of cool. And you can tag, you know, Neil at Project Spaces, you can tag Toronto Internet Marketers. So that's kind of the primary reason I always do that at the beginning of talks. The second reason I always do it, kind of secondary, is it never hurts to have additional photos of you speaking anywhere on the interweb. So doesn't hurt. So guys, by the way, I stole that from Dan Martell. For those of you who don't know who Dan Martell is, you can tag him and say, Jay Wong totally stole that intro from you. So guys, I'm here to really talk about how to launch a podcast within 60 days. I did it in literally just a few days under that. But I love the second part, which is becoming the authority in your niche. Right? I saw a couple hands go up, people that have podcasts. I think this is going to be an amazing refresher. And you know, there's a few things here in this presentation. We have so much content and stories, it's crazy. So I'm going to really try to keep this to an hour. But for those of you that are actually launching, or for those of you that are like flirting with the idea of learning, or having a podcast, I think you're going to get so much out of this. For you guys to get the most out of the hour, I kind of wrote some like success rules, some ground rules. We'll go through them super quick. One, this is something I learned from Jason Gaynard, who was here last month. And you know, I'm here really just to share. I look at myself as, I've been like literally in those chairs the last 15 months in a row. I'm here to share first. The second rule is don't learn passively. Don't learn what? Passively. Okay, this is good. So, if you might not know me, I don't know, I think I know a few of you in the room, but I'm a very big person with energy. Like, I need to like vibe with some good energy. I don't know if you guys feel me in here. So I'll do, don't worry, it's an hour. No one's jumping on chairs. We're not walking on fire. We're not doing a hallelujah. Though, I'm not opposed if you guys are feeling it, you know. throw it out there. So don't learn passively, right? Number 3 is content versus context, okay? Content versus context. Okay. Yeah, you guys are good. So we're going to cover a lot of content, okay? But I'm going to try to do my best to leave some time at the end of this so that we can do some Q&A. For me, I'm always, it's almost always, it's not about the content per se, it's usually about the context. How is it relevant for you? Right? I don't want you to just simply try to copy each of my strategies, because everything I do is designed for a very specific audience. It's designed for who I'm looking to serve, right? It's designed for my community, who I'm looking to make a difference for. So you don't want to copy, you want to think about, how does this relate to me? How can I use some of these strategies and apply them in my business? How does it help me get ahead? Or is this even relevant, right? So content versus context, very, very important. And then last but not least, I need you guys to take action. I was going to call this don't dabble, but I mean, you want to take action in everything that you want to do in life. So to make this the most impactful hour, you want to take action. So that's Tony Robbins. I promise, no walking on fire today. He has this quote, knowledge is not power, application of knowledge is power, right? And so once again, it comes back to that mindset. You don't want to just look at the strategies and how I did it, right? That's one part of it, but you want to think about how can I use this to build my business? How can I use this to build the show that I want? How do I use this to reach out to the audience that I want to make a difference for, right? So I'm really hell-bound on this mission of helping business owners, authors, consultants, entrepreneurs really get their message out there so that they can actually make an impact with their life's work and actually profit from it, right? And today we're going to be talking about podcasting, which I always say it's a business hack, but to me, it's a really, really big life hack. I'm going to talk to you and share with you why it's been such a big life hack for me. But before we dive into any of it, to build some proper context, I can kind of share with you kind of where I was literally just a few short years ago. Does anyone know this company, Strategic Coach? Really quick, a few of you? Okay. So a few short years ago, I was working for this company, just right out of business school. I was working for Dan Sullivan's company, who's the CEO, founder. They do they do coaching and training for high net worth individuals. Okay, so you have to make like, I think minimum $250,000. Like, this is not revenue, like you have to pay yourself $250,000. You have to get like a letter from your accountant saying that, you know, you are who you say you are. And the people that would come to these workshops are people like Peter Diamandis. Anyone know Peter Diamandis, who's trying to like send people to the moon and colonize and make us a multi-planet type of species? Anyone know Jeff Walker, Product Launch Formula? Come on, internet marketers. Joe Polish, Dean Jackson. I mean, these guys have massive high net worth. I mean, I remember actually one of my first times in these workshops. I came from business school, so I came extremely overdressed. I came with like a 3-piece suit. You know, I was like boiling in the training room, and I was sitting in the back, and I was like, you know what? This is like, people pay $20,000 to $25,000 to just be in the room. Right? I'm gonna do I'm a smart guy. I could like figure this out. I sat in the back of the room and just started taking notes. Right? Workshop starts at 9, ends at 5. No joking. By like 10:30 a.m., I'm like exhausted. Like I couldn't understand the mental and quantum leaps some of these people were talking about not just dominating their markets, but literally creating brand new industries. And this was like a crazy, inspiring experience, because I wasn't like an entrepreneur. Like I didn't have the lemonade stand. Like I didn't like come from a family of entrepreneurs. Like I wish I could say that, but that just wasn't the truth, right? I came from business school. I really signed up to business school because I didn't know what else to sign up for, and I ended up here, right? And this was like my first taste of what true entrepreneurship was like. And these guys were playing at a level, it's like the 1% of the 1%. It was really, really intense being a part of any of these conversations. I remember one time in a workshop, this guy came up to me and said, Jay, you know what I hate about Pearson? And I was like, I don't know, what do you hate about Pearson? He goes, oh, it's so expensive to park my jet here. 22 years old. Have you ever been on a jet? Dude, you're trying to fly like business class. Trying to convince them to pay for the ticket, that's it, you know? So my mindset was really being stretched there. After a couple years at Strategic Coach, I realized that even though this was a really great place for me, I wasn't in full alignment of figuring out what I wanted to do for me. It was so inspiring getting to be kind of behind the scenes with some of these guys changing the world. I wanted to change the world. And I remember this one day when, you can imagine at a company like Strategic Coach, we always talk about our goals, right? Sometimes it's weekly goals, sometimes it's monthly goals, sometimes quarterly. But this one specific meeting, I remember they had us do this exercise. We're writing down kind of like our kind of New Year's resolutions, but then you like kind of reverse engineer it, right? So we're gonna be 3 months, 6 months to make that happen. And I remember I already knew everything I was gonna write down. Like, I don't know about if any of you are kind of like that or could resonate with that, but some of my goals was things like learn a third language, travel more often, right? Maybe figure out how to run my own events or start a side business, start a passion project. Those are some of the things I was sharing, right? And the funny thing is, when I was sharing them, I already knew. It's kind of like, I have some friends that are really good comedians, right? Sean being one of them. And they always say when you have a really good set, right, you always kind of know when all the punchlines are. right? So the laughs are like you kind of expect it. You know what I mean? So the more you do the set, the more you lose kind of enthusiasm for doing the set. Does that make sense? Right? So for me, every time I would share these like crazy ambitious goals, because they were so like big, right? People would be like, oh my God, that's so crazy, you should totally do it. But this is how I felt. I felt like a total robot, just sharing and sharing. I already knew all the different punchlines. Oh my God, you should totally pursue it. You should totally do it. Wow, good for you for thinking so big, right? And I remember one day going back in my office and thinking, I don't know if I'm ever gonna actually take action. I realized that by sharing some of the ambitious ideas I had, that was enough for me. That was like enough dopamine for my brain to never take action. I don't know if you guys like resonate, but it's like when you're like really excited about a topic, you go like buy the book, and the book comes, you never read it. Don't worry, it's okay. We've all been there. There's a statistic that says like people buy X amount of people buy books, 84% of them don't read the book, right? Because the act of buying the book, that was like, dude, I'm good. I solved it, you know what I mean? I have social anxiety, I bought the book on social anxiety, I'm good, So it's really twisted, right? And I realized I don't want to live my life like that, right? I don't want to be surrounded by people that are literally shaping and changing industries and changing the world, and I don't have my own little thing. It's not that I didn't respect and, trust me, I wouldn't be the entrepreneur I am today, I wouldn't probably be the man I am today without the people I met at Strategic Coach, 100%. But I just didn't want to live my life like that. So I looked at the list and I thought to myself, what are some things that I can like start grouping together? What are some easy ones I can start tackling? Learning a third language was on there. I wanted to learn Chinese, and traveling was on there. So I thought, you know what, maybe I could combine the experience. And I made a decision that I was gonna start traveling and I was gonna live a certain time abroad, and I picked Shanghai. I learned Chinese when I was in Shanghai, mostly because, a couple reasons. One, I had to justify to my parents why I was taking off and quitting my job and doing all that. But two, you actually can't travel Asia, like, you have a very different experience if you don't speak Chinese versus, anybody been to Asia, right? So you guys know, right? Like, you need to be, like, you need to have somebody with you that speaks good Mandarin, right? And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna roll myself 3 months, 6 months, intense Mandarin class. I'll learn Mandarin and I'll continue vagabonding. So I lived in South Korea for a time. We did Southeast Asia. I was vagabonding all throughout Asia. Really fun fact, this is actually where I met my girlfriend, my now girlfriend, she's right over there. Let's just give Francesca a round of applause. Fun fact, I threw it in there. And so, this is exactly what happened. I spent a year abroad, so many adventures. I can literally, if we had more time, I can just fill the hour with that. When I came back, so all my clothes were dirty, right? Anybody travels, right? All your stuff is dirty, everything's wrecked, right? Everything. And then I came back, all my savings were gone. That was fun. And I was living literally back on, not the Simpsons couch, but I was watching the Simpsons on my family's couch. And that's where I was staying. And it kind of sucked. It sucked in a lot of ways because, I went from, this downtown lifestyle. My roommate and I, we had this beautiful downtown loft, right? I had this amazing job. I was traveling on behalf of Strategic Coach. To literally, I had all these amazing experiences, and then here I am back on my parents' couch. They turned my room into a workout or study room or something like that. There's one bike, and then the workout room didn't work out. So, anyways, so I had two options, right? I had two options. One was I can work my way back up, right? I can start applying for jobs, work my way back up, and get to start in sales again, business development, consult, whatever. I could do something like that. Or two, which was venture down the terrifying, unknown road of trying to make my own dent in the world, right? Trying to create something that could be mine, something, I didn't even know what it was at the time, but traveling has this weird thing of giving you some absurd levels of clarity. And if it doesn't give you absurd levels of clarity, it definitely gives you that confidence to do the absurd levels of clarity that you believe you have, right? So, look, I said, look, I'm a young guy, I can figure it out. I'm gonna go option two because I just did all this traveling, I survived, and I went to all these different adventures and I was able to do it. So what's the worst thing, right? I'm gonna launch an online business. I don't know how to do anything, from opt-in page, the email list, to podcast, to film a video, to anything, coaching. I didn't know how to do any of it. Okay, I just I'm gonna launch a business. So I got to work. And this is where most stories, people are like, you know what, and then it took off, we sold it for $1 billion, and now we're like, that's not what happened. My first year of entrepreneur, like, can you imagine this, like Asian, like, I love my parents to death, but like very traditional in some sense, right? On their couch every day, they come home, they see me, right? I'm like Googling things, like writing stuff down, there's like a chart like in their living room. Really struggled. I was trying to make like videos, I was trying to make vlogs, like I didn't even know what I was doing, right? I was like, should I learn SEO? What about the Snapchat thing? Like just confused. So who's ever been there? Like who's ever just been massively confused, right? So, oh, okay. I see which version of the slides we had up. So the long story short is that I was fortunate enough to go to a dinner, okay, with a bunch of, I know Jason spoke here last month, some of you were here, and he did these it wasn't a Jason, I wasn't cool enough to get invited, but I did one of these entrepreneurs dinner, I just like attended, and every time I got a chance to speak, I would be like, guys, this is what I'm doing, I'm like just presenting everything, I'm just like begging for help, you know, I'm like, I have no idea how to make money, like I have no idea how to do this, I have no idea how to build an audience, I have no idea what my message even is, right? And they said, you know, Jay, we see your stuff, like we see the effort you're putting, right? Why don't you have a podcast, right? Why don't you like start a podcast? And I'll show you in a few slides because, you know, it doesn't matter, it's a mismatch. But I didn't even know you can launch a podcast. I legit thought you had to like rent a room in like a radio station somewhere. And like, then you can have like a podcast. I didn't know how to do the whole podcast thing. I was able to launch from the dinner. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna look into it. And I took action. 6.5 weeks later, I had to push it back 1 week because album art wasn't perfect. But 6.5 weeks later, we launched. We were able to do the whole new and noteworthy thing. We hit #1 for self-help podcasts. I'll show you the print screen after I go through some of these naked slides apparently. We were on the same print screen as like Lewis Howes, Brendan Burchard, some of my own heroes, right? Totally mind-blowing. So really quick, who's ever had these problems? I call this was the best hamster wheel I can find, but I was on the content creation hamster wheel. Who's ever been there? You guys been there? Like, I was creating like Instagrams, like whoever told me about like Snapchat, I'm like, dude, I gotta do this Musical.ly thing, I gotta do the Facebook videos, like I gotta do everything, right? Just creating content with no real strategy behind it. I also didn't know how to make money. I also had no idea how any of this, how like the YouTube stuff, the blogs, I didn't know how it would connect to actually me. I'm not saying I wanted to just make loads of money, I just wanted to like I'm talking like literally a few $100s. Like that's kind of where my thinking was at. I just wanted to see some traction, right? You guys been there as well? So, and I also didn't have any startup capital. So I wanted to get mentors, I wanted to go to conferences, I wanted to go network with the best. I didn't have any resources to be able to do so. You guys ever said like you guys really wanted to go to an event, but you know that it financially doesn't make any sense? You guys been there? Right? I mean, I was really going through all these motions. So this slide. So we had the dinner. I realized really the power of podcasting. I had no idea that you can even launch one. And Francesca, my girlfriend, she told me to throw this picture in the next slide. But I thought it was really cool because Lewis Howes was speaking at a conference we went last fall. And we got to hang out with him, and I shared him like on the phone. I was like, dude, like, you know, like it was so exciting, it was so crazy. So I got to meet some of my own heroes, got to hang out a little bit. But you know, guys, the last 20 months, ever since I launched the podcast, I got invited to speak at some of the largest podcasting conferences in the world. PodCamp here in Toronto, shout out. But we were in Tampa, we're in Orlando. Podcast Movement was in Chicago. I've interviewed literally some of the best influencers and industry leaders in personal development, entrepreneurship. Some of you might know them: Bob Proctor, Neil Patel, Tucker Max, Grant Cardone, Jordan Harbinger. I've had multiple online courses. And we kept winning awards. Like we were nominated for a business award. Didn't know they had podcast awards. So it's been nuts. The first thing that actually took off was actually the consulting. This was my first. I save this print screen all the time. It was my first consulting deal after I did my first talk at a podcasting conference. So we consulted like a mini team on how to launch a podcast. And this was like literally the first money I made like in that first year. of podcasting. And then, Serge mentioned it, this happened. And I also love this picture because after 20 months, after about 18 months, at the time it was about 16 months of podcasting, this was the first time I could show my parents anything of relevant, something for them to hold on to. And they had no idea. I was like, guys, let's just go to Dundas Square. And we're standing there because it's on a 3-minute loop, and we just missed it. Oh, no. Right? So I was trying to block them. And then I was like, oh, okay, now it's gone. I was like, all right, UFC, come on. What, Superman, Batman, let's go. So this was really cool, and I want to get to the content though. So maybe I'll save the story at the end if we have a bit of time for Q&A. I really don't I'm a big believer that all stats are almost vanity metrics, but I understand for something like this, I kind of have to show you guys what's under the hood. This is earlier this month. This is literally this year. There's no thing for me to justify that it's this year. This is just to put in perfect context, these are not big numbers, right? Podcasters in the room, real quick. Podcasters, right? These are not massive numbers, right? Not massive numbers at all. Interviewed Jordan Harbinger, who, by the way, has been podcasting for 10 years, a decade, right? He has 3 million monthly downloads. 3 million monthly, just for now, these are not too shabby, I would say myself, but these are not massive numbers, right? But here's the thing, you don't need massive numbers. You don't need massive numbers, especially if you're going to be doing what we're going to be talking about. So I always love this quote. It's by Brendon Burchard. He says, don't let your small business keep you small-minded. Right? This was all I had going on when I started in the beginning. So I don't know where each of you are. Some of you, I saw some of you, you guys are flirting with the idea. Don't let your situation right now dictate what type of results you expect to see. All right? Don't let your small business keep you small-minded, right? So we're thinking big here. So here's the thing. You guys are probably thinking, look, Jay, these are all really great strategies. How the heck do I incorporate them? You guys thinking that? Right? Okay. So this is what I did not know at the time, right? These are the 3 strategies, not secret if I'm going to share them with you. So 3 secret strategies, okay? So don't worry, you don't have to take any notes, right? I'm going to give you guys a chance to get the slides and all this stuff. I just want to get to the content, right? So we're going to talk about how you can easily tap into the fastest growing new media channel. Secret number 2, we're going to talk about how you can hack the iTunes popularity algorithm so that you can actually launch within 60 days. And then we're going to talk about monetization. We're going to talk about leverage, right? How you can book an additional 2 clients a month, how you can sell more of your products if you're running a SaaS company, whatever it is. And you can put your marketing on automation. Does that sound cool for you guys? Yeah. Does it sound relevant? Okay, awesome. So secret number 1, how to tap into this. So this is kind of an old belief of mine, right? I used to, remember how I told you guys, I just wanted a few $100s? Right? That was an old belief, right? Now, I look at that, it's oh, baby money, right? But whatever, maybe 5 years from now, I'll look at what I'm doing now, it's oh, those are tiny goals, right? So we're always growing, this was one of my old beliefs, is I used to think that I missed the boat on podcasting, right? I was I gotta wait for the next thing. You guys been there before, right? And I was I think it's too late for me, I don't know, I gotta try all this Snapchat stuff. And so I gotta wait for the next thing. And so, here are the stats, okay? Because enough of Jay's opinion. Let's look at the stats, okay? So this is January 2016, okay? And this is January 2016 Edison Research. I'm gonna give you guys the link, or you guys can just Google Edison Research. 57 monthly listeners of podcasts across, this is mostly North America. As we break this down, look at the different age ranges, right? Whether it is from someone who is 55 or older, or a teenager. Right? It's growing across all the boards. Let's break it down even further. Weekly podcast listeners, 35 million people that listen to podcasts, and look at how that's been growing since 2013. This is one of my favorite slides of all time. Anybody have, okay, let's just do a quick answer. Who has an iPhone? What? iPhone? Okay, most people in the room. You know that they say iPhone users are about 10 to 15% more affluent and make 10 to 15% more money than the other Androids. Sorry, Android people. look, I'm with both. But podcast consumers are, on typical, they make $10,000 more money, right? And they're about 8% more affluent. So the question becomes, if you're thinking about podcasts, do you work with a more affluent clientele? Does an affluent clientele actually serve your business? That's actually, I thought it was an immediate yes. It's actually not a yes for all the time. But this is really good to understand, right? What is their method of listening to podcasts? Look at this, 80% of them just click on it and play it right away. We're living on an on-demand society, right? Whoever here is order Uber Eats, we order an Uber here, right? Amazon Prime, that stuff is crazy. It lands on your door like the next day, on demand, guys. 50%, look at this, 50%. Download manually and listen later. I always say on my episodes, I always say thank you so much for the data. Because it takes a lot of data, you know, for people that download. And so this means that it's not because podcasting is such a new technology. It's actually been around. Jordan's been doing it since 2006. Right? It's been around for almost a decade plus. So the accessibility is what has changed. Right? Now when you buy a car, when people get a car, they have, what's it called, a CarPlay right in the dashboard. You can't even get the free, can't even delete podcasts. Everybody with an iPhone right now, try to delete the podcast app. You can't. It's native. And that's why all these numbers are growing, right? And so podcast is going through this resurgence because technology has finally caught up. Does that make sense for you guys? So one is accessibility. I love this one as well. The average time people listen to podcasts, look at this, average 4 hours and 10 minutes. What's like the average blog? What's the average video, right? Think about this, right? Everybody thinks everyone's attention span is getting shorter. Is that the case?
Is that per week?
This is a weekly podcast listener. So yeah, people on average will spend 4 hours listening to podcasts. You guys can think right now, who listens to podcasts? Like at least a couple, right? So how many hours? You guys don't have to answer out loud, right? But like, in case it's like lower or higher, throw mine. It's not my numbers anyway. But you know what I mean? Like for me, I have like they say on average people have about 3 to 5 podcasts they switch from. 4 hours. I'm like, yeah. It's probably a little more than I'm willing to admit. Sounds fair. So what this presents, this is an opportunity for everybody that has a podcast. This is why you don't need big numbers. Because the people that do listen, even if it's 100 people, you're allowed to build deeper relationships. You're literally in the person's freaking ears and head, man. I've had a guy, really fun story, his name is Bill. He got on the phone with me, and we're doing like an online promotion at the time. And he got on the phone with me, he's like, oh my God, is this Jay Wong? I go, dude, like, who else did you think was gonna call you, you know? Thought it was big time. And I was like, hey, I really appreciate that. He goes, you have no idea. I go, uh-oh, what is he gonna say next? He goes, you have no idea. You've been to the gym with me. And I was like, really? My girlfriend says I should go to the gym way more often. Seriously, this is what I said.
I know.
But he goes, no, you don't understand. You've been around the house with me. I'm like, where do you live? He goes, somewhere out west. What? He goes, dude, you've been in the car with me. I'm like, oh, I get what he's meaning. He's been listening to the show. Every time he's going to the gym, cleaning the house. Dude, this guy knew everything. It was kind of creepy, actually. Because, dude, I know you're in Italy right now. The guy followed my journey every single episode. He knew when I left Toronto. He knew when I was in Orlando. He knew when I got to Italy. He knew we were in Russia for a friend's wedding. Like, it was crazy. Deeper relationships, right? Can your business benefit from having deeper relationships with a more affluent clientele? I don't know. So, I'm going to show you guys. Is it cool if I show you guys a really cool trick? So I got started with less than $100. Who has $100 in here? $100. We're not doing like cash debit. So I always mess up this acronym. Who knows this acronym?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Okay, I always say stupid, simple. Yeah. So you want to keep it really, really simple. That way you look as happy as this guy, right? So this is how much. So if you want to get started in podcasting, this is where you're going to take notes. Okay. This is the mic I use. This is the mic I recommend. It's also the mic that every person recommends in podcasts. Most. Without spending a fortune, $60. Okay. I have to be honest with you. It's in USD, so it's a touch higher. But this is the mic I got. Okay. And what you want, here's a pro tip. You want to get cardioid setting. All right. Don't even worry about any of these words. I don't even read them. Okay. Cardioid setting. You want to pick up what's right in front of the mic. I don't have a mic, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? You don't want to pick up what the other person's saying. Cardioid mic, get a USB dynamic mic, you plug right in, just like this thing's plugged right into my computer.
What's the name of that mic?
It's called ATR, it's Audio Technica, really great brand. No affiliate link either. Wow. ATR 2100. All right.
I can't see that. ATR.
We'll be sending out the slides.
I'll be sending. I'll give you guys a chance to get the slides.
To me?
Yeah, I definitely will. So. Okay, I always, every time I put up this slide, there's a bit of a war. I actually used to like only do, because I'm a Mac. Anybody Apple? Apple? Actually, no. I picked Apple. Windows, come on. Say it loud, say it proud. All right. See? We got something for you guys. So, Pamela recorder, really great recorder. They're all $30. I think it's US again, sorry. Ecamm is what I use for Mac. This is gonna allow you, both of them are gonna allow you to record both audio and visual. Okay? So now if your mom calls you, you're like, hey mom, talk to me on Skype. So now you got all the recordings of all the, all the different things you want to point out. I don't know. There was a joke somewhere in there. But recording software, right? So $30. That's literally what I bought. That was it. Like there is no, actually that's not true. Step 3, pro tip. Everyone has headphones, right? I kind of assumed that. So that was it. That was my studio. That's all you need. I'm going to say that again, okay? We're going to go over the steps again. Step 1, microphones. You want to sound like a rock star. Invest and don't say, oh, I don't want to spend the $60. Get the freaking microphone, okay? You want to sound good. You want to protect, honor that relationship with your listeners' ears, right? You want to have something to record, right? Something that, just to make sure you record all the awesomeness that the other person is flowing and you're flowing as well. You want to be able to record that. Maybe you want to capture their mannerisms, their facial expressions. Really great stuff. And then you want to put headphones. You know why you want to use headphones? If you don't, if the other person starts screaming, or there's something called reverb, you don't have to understand it. Just put headphones. That way you don't. Yeah, I don't want to get into it. Right? These guys know what I'm talking about. So look, super quick summary, all right? We know that podcast consumers are 10 to 15 or 10% at least. They make $10,000 more. That's US too, so that's like 13. They're more affluent. It's going through a resurgence, right? We're living in an on-demand society, and this gives us that relationship piece, right? And the tools: microphone, cardioid, recording software. And so this is the take action part. I want each of you, the ones that are thinking about having a podcast, right? Think about who is your listener avatar. Listener who? Avatar. Okay, you guys are still good. So the reason, think about and then ask yourself questions like this: who do I want to serve? Who do I want to make a difference for? Right? Who do I want listening to my show? What are they going through? What are the things that are keeping them up at night? I was gonna write like a whole thing of questions for you guys to think about. But you guys need to think about this when you're doing copywriting. You guys need to think about this when you're doing Facebook ads. You guys need to think about this when you're doing like a newsletter. These are basic questions that you need to understand. The first thing you need to think about is who is going to be listening to my show? How can I make a difference in their lives, right? And then get the microphone. Get the freaking microphone, man. I don't want to listen to podcasts all staticky and stuff. So, secret number 2. Was that cool?
Yeah.
$100? Okay. Secret number 2. Discover how to hack popularity algorithm. Okay, super quick. This is my old belief, okay? I used to think that you needed a massive email list. Does anybody think this? You need a massive email list, so huge social media following? I used to think that. 100%. 100% I used to think that. It's not the case. I'm going to show you why. Jason Gaynor, who was recently just here, he says, what works in the military works in marketing. And I think he quoted this from a book. What works in the military works in the marketing, and that is the unexpected. Right? So, raise your hands really quick. Who has heard of popularity algorithm? Who's listened to Kirsten's talk on crowdfunding and know a popularity algorithm? So not a lot of you. Okay. I will preface it with this. What I'm going to show you and what I did is not normal. It's not normal, right? But when you do abnormal things, you typically get abnormal results, right? If you do normal things, you're going to get kind of like average results. Who wants average results? So, who wants to pick one? Pick anyone. Anybody. Kickstarter, okay. So Kickstarter, Indiegogo, popularity algorithm, you might not know it, but it exists in almost everything that you see in today's market, okay? Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and we have the crowdfunding genius in-house, so she can correct me if I'm wrong. But most campaigns, okay, if you get it within the first 48 to 72 hours, if you get it about 30 to 33%, I mean the higher the better realistically, but if you get it to around 30, 33%, I didn't even tell her I was doing this. So 30 to 33%, it is more likely to get funded. And in fact, one of her campaigns, she proved this, right? She had a failed campaign, and then she got the 33% funding within the first 48 hours. You know what happened? They put her project in the newsletter of other people that invested in projects that were similar to them. The whole Kickstarter, if you've ever invested in Kickstarter, you might have seen it, right? So how cool is that, right? Because guess what? The algorithm picked it up, and therefore, because you raised X amount of dollars so fast, 33%, now the algorithm deems it popular, right? Let's say Facebook. You ever...
Fake news.
Fake? Well, anybody ever see those posts with like someone like had a baby, somebody got married, somebody is going to the NBA, and it has like 400, 500 likes? You guys feel me on this? Like you guys see this and you're like, how? You guys know it's not because 400, 500 people liked it all at one time, right? Maybe 50 people, maybe 60 people liked it all at one time, right? Maybe like the first 30 minutes or so. And then it just kept boosting it up, right? And just showing up over and over and over and again. And after a while, after 200 likes, it has so much social proof, it just keeps going, right? And then people are commenting, engaging, it just keeps popping up. So Amazon does this all the time with the Amazon bestsellers, right? People know about this game, right? So how does this relate to podcasting? In podcasting, how do we use the popularity algorithm? Popular algorithm relies on three things, okay? It relies on rates and reviews, okay? You might want to write this down when you're launching. Rates and reviews, okay? Subscribership, okay? That little button that says subscribe. And then downloads, consumption, right? Time of consumption, right? So the objective really is to manufacture a bit of demand, right? Because if you don't have a massive email list, if you didn't write a New York bestseller, you don't have a massive social media. This is me, by the way. Like, this is when I first started. I didn't have any of those things, right? So I had to leverage the popularity algorithm to create a spike in traffic, okay? This is the best picture of like my own stats at the illustrative point. And this is exactly, I'm going to walk you through. You guys want to know what I did, like step by step, like how I leveraged it? So, step one, I made a list of every person that liked me in high school, university, like literally people that I know that would spend 5 minutes helping me out. I made that list. All right. Some of you that was my email list. Okay. Don't complain that you don't have a massive email list, that you don't have a massive social media follow. I'm going to show you how to do it without either of those. Okay. I didn't have any of those. I didn't even have an email list for the first few months. Okay. And this is what I did. I created personalized audio messages and personalized videos or personalized emails to each of them. Some of